because what if he falls and hits his head and he gets eaten by a coyote or a rattlesnake? It'd probably be a coyote because he's got all that good fat, all that tummy fat. It's so cozy. You're like, Jesus Christ. I think she's doing a bit. But yeah, like, why not just let him leave? Like, or why not just leave and let him be and let him figure it out?
Listener discretion advised. Adult language and mature content.
Welcome, everybody. This is Two Queens, One Screen podcast. I'm Keeley.
And I'm Jen.
Thank you for
Joey.
That's Joey. Look at that. We have
Joey.
A little guest.
If you're watching on any of the video versions of this, you can see this little tuxedo handsome boy. We started off the new year with a couple of foster kittens, and so I'm going to get lightly attacked throughout the episode.
Nice. That's amazing.
And if you're in the Seminole County, Florida area, and you're interested, I am happy to help you adopt a kitten.
Nice.
Because I can't have any more at my house. Matt said that we are at capacity.
And how many is that again?
5.
5.
Not counting the fosters. If you count the fosters, there are 7 cats in my house right now.
Holy smokes.
But I have 5 cats that I own.
Yeah. That's a lot. I have 0, and that's a lot.
Do you know what? 5 cats, less work than 1 dog. I much prefer it. I love a dog. I love dogs. I love every dog that doesn't belong to me.
Okay.
I enjoy dogs, but I don't want one.
Okay.
I want 1,000 cats. Yeah. So, how's your week going?
My week was good. So I saw this week that Lorelai from Vanderpump Rules was on a couple of podcasts. She was doing some interviews, and I love Vanderpump Rules. So Vanderpump Rules is what you and I share in common. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to talk about that for a minute because she, for whatever reason, randomly has come out and just talked about her season. She was on season 1.
Season 1. So this is 10 years ago.
Yeah. Just one season.
She was on for half the season. She was a train wreck, and she left the show. She came in, caused drama with everybody, had sex with Jax in a bathroom. Yeah. Screamed at everyone because she got bullied by Stacey. Yeah. And then left because she was going to go make it. She was in a movie with Jennifer Aniston, one of her idols. Yeah. Do you remember what movie she went and did?
With Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah.
It's called We're the Millers, I believe.
Yeah, where Jennifer Aniston was a stripper and Lorelai was a baby stripper.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a half bad movie. It was okay.
No, the movie was good. Her role was not an important role. Yeah. Or one that I would be like, guys, did you see me in?
Sure.
Did we?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she had a couple of interesting things to say, right? She talked about how much they paid her, which was hundreds and hundreds of dollars less, obviously, than the other casts. Mm-hmm. She talked about, right, the scene, the bathroom sex with Jax, that she didn't know he unlocked the door. She talked about there was some Xanax incident with Stacey and Jax. But what I wanted to say was, I think Vanderpump Rules is the actual best reality show ever. Like, ever made, ever out there. And I will argue with someone on that point. It has the best characters, the best people, the best character arcs, the best how everybody moves through each part of their life.
The social incest of that group is beyond.
Yes.
They've all had sex with each other.
Yes.
They're all in a fight with each other. They all deeply love each other. It's very the enmeshment of these people is insane. The narcissism of these people is insane. And Jax, I think he is a terrible person. I think he is dumb. I think he is manipulative and terrible. I think he makes some of the best television.
Yes.
There is. I
100%.
don't think that I wouldn't want to know him in real life, but I will watch him on TV until probably he dies.
Yes.
Because he's going to die first.
Oh, sure.
The two of us.
Yes. And I didn't like Stacey for, I don't know, what 3 seasons maybe. And
really?
I love her now. And I follow her. I watch her. I listen to her. And I can't get enough of her.
Is pretty amazing. Because
Wonderful.
she started on the show as just the queen bee ultimate villain. I loved her from the beginning.
Yeah.
Even though she was awful and terrible, I enjoyed her. I thought she was funny. I think she's very clever. I think she's got a great wit to her. And when she's mean and terrible to people, she does it in a really entertaining and funny way, I think.
Yeah.
But that first season of Vanderpump Rules, if you don't watch any other reality TV, if you watch that season of television, that's all you need.
Yeah.
It is a perfect season of reality TV.
Wonderful.
And you just continue to enjoy it all the way out. The fact that it's going to be all new, we've talked about that before, is like a little bit disappointing. And the second that the Valley comes out, I think you and I are going to be all over it, and we're not going to be able to talk or think about anything else.
Yeah.
I'm going to be neglecting my children. I'm just going to put all the cats outside.
Yes.
I'm going to stop eating. Yeah.
Yeah. We can't wait for the Valley to start. Yeah. I just wanted to say that I love the Vanderpump Rules so much, and I just think it is just the best reality TV show that was ever made. Ever.
So it looked like Lorelai was doing those, and I've only seen clips. I haven't actually watched the podcast that she was on. I need to find them. But it seemed like she was plugging a cartoon that she is doing, an animated series that she's created, and everyone is kind of, it seems like, loosely based on Vanderpump Rules characters, which, all right, that's her lived experience, so she can write about it. I thought that it was a little odd that she's coming back now, but it's like, does she really, if you are trying to promote something and you are her, I think going through the Vanderpump Rules is really your safest bet.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I'm wondering if she's going to get backlash on it, though.
I mean, she might. I mean, kudos to her for doing that. Why not? Everybody else is, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Why shouldn't she have a little bit of the apple as well? I mean, she was treated so horribly by all of them, and just really taken advantage of. I mean, why not have a little bite of that apple too? So I don't think it's a problem. I think it's fine.
It is weird that we look at it and we're like, this is evil. The production was messed up. Every single person on this is at least a little bit of a bad person.
Yeah.
Like there's a version where everyone's bad, worse than most. And yet I love it, and I love the characters. I've always been Team Stacey. I've always been Team Ariana. I've gone back and forth, but I've really ended up very much, I loved Katie. I love to hate Sheena.
Yes.
Who's yours? Who's your, like, I love them, I hate them?
Oh, I agree with all of yours. Everything you just said, I agree with. I did not like Kristen up until recently with the Valley. I started liking Kristen with the Valley.
Kristen's always going to be in the same bucket as Jax with me, where I'm like,
yep,
she's amazing TV, but I don't ever want to deal with her in person.
Yeah.
Although I'm happy that she's having a baby.
Yeah.
I saw a meme that showed her with her baby bump because she's about to have a girl, I think.
Yeah. And
they were like, in 5 years, there's a teacher that will be having a parent-teacher conference with her. And I hope that it's on television.
Yeah.
That's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. But she's going to be, 55 at that parent-teacher conference. So it should be nice and mellow, instead of the 25-year-old going to that parent-teacher conference, right? There's a difference there.
She was a little nuts at the Valley, too.
I know.
Granted, she might have been hormonal, but she hasn't settled down that much.
I don't know. We hope
She's
so.
like, I'm in therapy now, you fucking bitch. Oh, so good.
Oh, well, okay. Well, let's get started. Today we're going to talk about episode 6, everybody, of Last Resort. They called it The Last Laugh. Of course, we know why, because Natalie, we're going to call her Nut Natalie. She was totally nutty this time. So they picked up at the bar fight, right, with Florian and Jasmine. That's where they started off again. And the girls were separated from the boys, right? Girls are over here. The boys are over here. Boys are still hammered and wasted. The girls are not drunk and looking at the boys like, what are we doing?
I really want to talk about this with you. So there's these clear two camps of the boys and the girls.
Yeah.
But then as everyone starts to intermingle, Jasmine and Florian had that bullet fight because she dumped out the 2 drinks, which was a real dick move. And then Florian got in her face more than he should have, in my opinion. But still, he was wasted and she's provoking him on purpose. Like, she was starting it, I think. I think she was creating the confrontation. No one got pushed. No one got hit. He just got in her face more than he should have. However, then they all kind of continue to intermingle a little bit. Stacey is crying because she's so embarrassed by Florian. I thought it was a little over the top. Were the women also drinking?
No.
Or was Stacey just that escalated?
I think Stacey was just that escalated normally. That's just, I think, what Stacey's level is as a normal human being.
I was disappointed because I was like, look at how great she's doing. And then she just jumps on him and I didn't love that.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. I think Jasmine started that fight because she was upset about Gino hugging Natalie. I think she just lashed out. That's why I think the whole thing started. I don't think she not likes Florian. She was fine with him up until that point. I think
until
she
that
just
moment.
Lashed out at him for no reason.
Yeah, and I was disappointed. I mean, but that's her. Yeah. There's no logic behind it. The aftermath of this is that some of the wives are like, we've got to take our husbands back to the rooms. Yeah. Other wives are like hanging out and enjoying the atmosphere. And in my opinion, other than when Florian got pissed off because he was genuinely attacked by Jasmine, everyone was having a good time. They all seemed like silly. They're wasted, but they're, in good spirits. No one's being a bad drunk. Some wives, like Jasmine, like Stacey, like Julia, are taking their husbands. They're like, I'm embarrassed by you. I can't believe this. Like, let's go back. This is embarrassing. We've got to stop. And then there's other wives, I think specifically like Sophie, who are like, this is funny. They're just hanging out, having a good time. Why are you embarrassed? You are not the drunk one. If they're dumb, they're being dumb. I didn't think anyone was drunk inappropriately. I guess I'm leading the witness here, but I don't think that anybody was out of control. I enjoy my husband, Matt, when he's a little tipsy. He's fun. He's a little silly Billy. Everything makes him giggly. He's just fun. Obviously, there are people who are mean drunks, and that's a different situation. But in that scenario, I don't understand it. What's your perspective of, like, if your husband's wasted out in public, how do you respond? Are you like, this is embarrassing, you're drunk, we've got to go? Or do you enjoy it and just deal?
No, I'm with Sophie. I think it's funny. It's not embarrassing. My husband is funny. He's giggly. He is usually the one taking care of me, right? Following me around because I'm trying to pull my pants down and pee in a bush, and I don't know that I'm not supposed to be doing that kind of a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's me. This is what I'm doing. But no, he is fine. He's not causing problems. I think it's fun. I think it's funny. I'm not embarrassed by him. I'm with Sophie. I'm Team Sophie on that. I wouldn't be trying to take him home. Here's the thing. They were at the resort anyway, right? They're home basically anyway, right? They're not at a club. They don't have to get in a car,
drive.
right?
Yeah.
They don't have to call a van or an Uber or a Lyft to get home. They're basically already home. And I kept thinking that to myself watching that. I'm like, if you're embarrassed, why don't you just go back to the hotel room alone? Why don't you just do that?
Well, I think Jasmine had a very good explanation. She said that she would not, because even the producer in the Between the Sheets was like, why didn't you just leave? And she's like, oh, no, I would never do that. No, because I'm too protective. Because what if he falls and hits his head and he gets eaten by a coyote or a rattlesnake? It'd probably be a coyote because he's got all that good fat, all that tummy fat. It's so cozy. You're like, Jesus Christ. I think she's doing a bit. But yeah, like, why not just let him leave? Or why not just leave and let him be and let him figure it out? So the moral of the story is everyone needs to just let their significant others be a little drunk.
Yes.
Unless it's Keeley and she's trying to pee in a bush.
Also say, this is a little hypocritical and a little double standard from the last bar fight we saw, where the girls were having fun and the men were not drunk and they didn't enjoy the women and were constantly trying to get the women off of the bar, out of the bar, trying to get them home. And so I didn't quite understand what we were doing. Like Brandon and his dumb comment with the fun police is here. I'm sorry, sir. You tore your wife down off of a bar where she was trying to have fun and dance, and now you're calling her the fun police where you're sitting there drunk trying to have fun, and all she did was literally walk in the room. That's all she did. She didn't address you. She didn't talk to you. She didn't say one word to you. All you did was look at her face, and you called her the fun police. So there's a little bit of a double standard for me with these men that I find a little sickening. So it bothered me quite a bit. That's what I thought about with this bar fight. So what's good for the geese is not good for the gander with these people, and it really bugs me.
They have these double standards for each other, and they do have this, like, I want to let loose, but I don't want you to let loose because I don't trust you thing going on.
Yep.
I was a little disappointed by how everyone handled that. I did think that Brandon was a funny drunk. I thought, and Julie was just so over the top annoyed. Although Brandon and Rob interrupted a conversation she was having with Sophie because we find out in Between the Sheets that Julia and Ari had a fight, kind of, or they had a miscommunication, I guess is a way to say it. At the breakfast where everyone was getting along, Ari had a back and forth with Julia, like a fun one, and they said they were going to cause drama. And Ari says, as a joke, she sent a text to Julia saying, I hate you, bitch, because they were going to stir up drama because people were saying that Ari was jealous because Julia had been dancing with Benny. And they're like, oh, let's make drama. That's what she says. Julia says, I thought it was a joke. She said it was a joke. And then I showed it to the other girls and they said that this is not a joke. All right, that's not really the crowd you should be sourcing for, is this drama or not drama? Everyone's on a TV show, they're going to be like, oh, drama. I would 100% send you a text message that says, I hate you, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a joke. Yeah. Especially if we were face to face. So I don't know if Julia had, she's my sweet baby angel, so I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. But this also seems like it was pumped up just to make some drama for the show. I
think so, too. I thought it was confusing.
Yeah, it was very confusing. And it seemed like it was taken out of context. Mm-hmm. Ari did not take that well at all. Mm-hmm. And I think it was interesting how Julia did that, because doesn't seem like very much in her nature. But then she was crying to Sophie, and Brandon and Rob find them, and they're both drunk and being silly and interrupting and not reading the room. But they can't read the room. They're impaired.
Right.
But Julia was like, you're embarrassing, you're gross, what happened to your shoes? But Brandon seems like a fun drunk to me, and so I felt a little bit bad for him.
Yeah.
And they go back to the room, but then he was too drunk to wash his feet before he got in bed. He just became like a bratty little child, which is why she doesn't want to have kids with him.
Right.
But anyway,
well, they put it together because the way they edited it was very confusing watching the show. We had no idea what was going on, right? Because Rob and Brandon said, "Where's our wives?" And then you thought, right, where did those women go? We had no idea. And then they left it. And then the next morning, Julia is yelling at Brandon for his dirty feet and sleeping in bed with his dirty feet when we were like, what are you talking about? We didn't understand that. And then they explain it in the between the sheets. So the way they edited it, I wish they would have at least put something in there in the show to explain it. Anyway, that was super helpful for them to do that. Now we know what was going on.
And I think it is gross to go to bed with dirty feet. So
it's super like you're a hobbit or something. That's just disgusting. Well, he went into the bathroom. She's like, "Go take a shower." And he's like, okay. He goes into the bathroom, and you think he's taking a shower, and then he comes out fully clothed, looking like he does, and get into bed. And you're like, okay, he did not take a shower. No, not getting under the covers with that. Sorry, sir.
No. But yeah, I think they probably still slept in the bed together. But that's not making your wife endearing to you.
But at least we understand.
Now we
context.
understand what happened. Right. I almost wish, and I know the producers of the show are listening, it would be so much better if you guys just did it as one show, linear, so we could follow. I don't need it in two different things that I have to piece together. It makes taking notes for my podcast very difficult.
There you go.
These are champagne problems, but still. The other thing about all of this, and Brandon looking like a petulant child, at one point he's like, "I don't want to do it." And she's like, "Don't walk like this. Stop walking like this." She's just like, everything about him was like making her irritated. Matt, because I watched this with my husband, he was like, she wants like a macho guy that's not gonna act like a little silly Billy when he's wasted, you know? Yeah. Like that is a turnoff for her. And she has mentioned many times that he's like a child for her that she has to manage. And I don't think that that's wrong. There's that idea, this like macho persona for these dudes, in that everybody at the bar, I think, really played out. You've got Florian, who's like, a woman shouldn't talk to me like this. Yes. This like very Eastern European tough guy thing.
Yes.
And then you've got Benny, who's from this African culture where he says himself, that's not how we would like conduct ourselves. Like no woman would behave like that, especially not towards her man, and lets her man be the leader of things. And I think that that's kind of what Julia wants. I think that's part of why she's so irritated by Brandon. Yeah. She doesn't want to see him be a silly Billy. She wants to see him be tough guy. Yeah. But she married a Brandon.
Right. No, I agree with that. Well, so, we see a little bit about when they go back to their hotel room, Gino and Jasmine are in their hotel room, and Gino is completely wasted, talking to himself, or talking to the producers, or talking to somebody. It was very funny, I thought. He's telling her to go sleep into another room, right?
He had the time of his life.
Oh, yeah. Talking
this, like,
to nobody.
Men hanging out together. Like, he felt like part of the group. They taught him beer pong. Ding! He was so proud of himself. He's a silly Billy when he's drunk. He had a great time. And Jasmine was like, this is embarrassing. I think she just wanted to be mad, and so everything was going to be offensive to her.
Yeah.
At that time.
Right, and then we see Stacey and Florian go back to their room. Stacey's very upset at him, obviously. She says, you sleep on the couch or I am. I don't want to sleep next to you. He doesn't understand why. She said, you embarrassed me, disrespected me. You acted barbaric.
Yeah, she was like, you were so disrespectful to Jasmine. Which, counterpoint, no, Jasmine was disrespectful to him. Stacey even later on will say, Jasmine poked the bear.
Yeah.
She kind of was asking to get someone to be mad at her. I don't feel bad for Jasmine at all. Jasmine started that. But she's like, you were disrespecting Jasmine. And Florian is wasted, but he makes a solid point. He's like, I don't respect her. I disrespected her. I don't respect her at all. So why would I? She wants to have an open marriage. Look at what she's doing with Gino. Look at how she's treating her marriage in general. That's not how marriages work. That's embarrassing. Mm-hmm. She's embarrassing. I don't respect her, so why would I? And he's like, if you want to stick up for her and you're upset about how I treated her and you want me to sleep on the couch because you were protecting her, then yeah, I'll let you do it. I was disappointed in Stacey because I think Stacey kind of knew that he was right. And kind of knew that he actually wasn't that out of line. But at this point, she had already decided that she was mad and she couldn't back down. You know?
Yeah.
Do you ever get that where you are in a fight with your husband and then you're like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
That was me.
Yep.
I'm the bad one.
Yeah.
I need to chill out. In the beginning of our relationship, I would dig into the ground. I would die on every hill. That was me. But I grew out of that. I was like, oh, the marriage thing doesn't work out unless you're on the same team. And I'm trying to put us on different teams, and that's not going to work. Stacey's still on different teams.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they'd been married for 9 years.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That surprised me because I didn't watch their other shows. Oh. So I didn't actually know Florian.
Yeah. I knew they had been together for quite a long time.
9 years. You think that they'd figured it out a little bit better by now.
Yeah. So then we go to the next day. It's therapy day, but the next day we see Josh. Josh is back. He attempts to go to Natalie's, right? Talk to Natalie, knocks on her door. They talk about the fact that she has all the DMs, right? Natalie sent her all these screenshots. She sent her everything. And so Natalie says, look, I have everything. I want to ask you about all this stuff. And he says, okay. So she shows him and reads them out loud to Josh. Basically, what does she do? She has everything, right? And he gaslights her. He says the word we. It says the word we. We are going to Las Vegas. It doesn't say I. It doesn't say I'm going to Las Vegas. And she's just looking at him. I mean, the man, he won't stop. He won't back down. He won't give her anything. No. It was
genuinely unsettling to watch. And he just steamrolls through and he's like, and it's so shameless. Yeah. She's like, I have it all right here. And he goes, great. I'm so glad that you have it right there so you can see.
Yeah.
And she literally reads out loud to him, yeah, my relationship is very rocky and she's crazy. I don't remember exactly what the words are, but basically he was like, yeah, she's insane. I don't think this is going to last. LOL. Lol. Ugh. And he's like, yeah, I misworded that. I apologize. I didn't word that correctly. What?
Yeah, no.
And she's like, no, she's asking him to acknowledge what he's done and that it's in there. He completely deflects. And then he just goes, well, I want this to be positive and I want to go show everybody that you and I can make this work and that we're working on this together. And then she's trying to get a little bit more accountability for him and he just starts kissing her. And she's like, oh.
Yeah, he grabs her. No, he grabs her and kisses her. He does it twice. It gave me a big ick. And she just kind of looks at him.
Yeah.
And is looking at him like, do you have anything to say for yourself? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I don't understand that. I don't know if he's had women in his life where he can use sex or some sort of physical intimacy to make things go away. Some women that works. I don't know that if it has worked with her in the past, maybe. It was very unsettling to watch that. Yeah. I didn't like it.
Is he amazing in bed?
No.
Is he really, really good in bed?
If he has to grab her and kiss her like that and hold her there to get her to stop, to get her to stop talking, I didn't like it.
It was uncomfortable to watch. Yeah. And even in Between the Sheets, Natalie goes, watching it as a viewer, now I see how dumb I look.
Yeah.
I see how dumb that looks. And it's very confusing to watch that happen and go, how are you accepting this from him? But I think that there is something to be said for it. If that was you in the moment, maybe in the moment you don't react the way that you would like to.
Sure. Yeah.
And, she's being blindsided by this because she's kind of starting to get what she wants from him. Or at least he's saying that he's going to give her what she wants. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah. And he says the typical male thing. Let's just start from now forward. Let's forget about the past. These men don't want to talk about what they've done, right? We don't want to talk about our feelings. We don't want to talk about how we can improve it. I don't want to say I'm sorry. I don't want to explain myself, and then we can move on. They just want to move on and forget it. So that's what he says. Let's just start from today. And she's like, okay. And they leave and go to therapy at the lake. Lakeside therapy is what we got going on.
Another off-campus.
Ugh.
I found this therapy annoying. I think I complained about the therapist last time as well. I just feel like it's so... I guess when you have this many couples, you have to be surface. And let's be honest, as we're watching this show, I don't feel like they're really trying to solve anything. I think they're just creating a reality TV show, which is fine, because under what other premise are you going to get all these people together?
Yeah.
It's just, I liked last season because I felt like last season of Last Resort, they helped some couples really
did therapy.
They did real therapy. And this one, they're kayaking and talking about who takes the lead in their relationship, which I don't know. I find power dynamics really interesting. I felt like this was like Baby's first introduction to that, which is a little annoying.
Yeah. They do this row and throw power dynamic exercise, which I guess proves either you give up your power and let the other person take it, or you take your power back, or something to that effect.
Well, I think it was this thing where it was nobody could have been a leader. It's just you both have a job to do.
Yeah.
And I think that was the point of it. Everybody has their specific job to do, and how do you support them while they're doing that?
Yeah.
Do you let them do it, or do you try and take over for them?
Yeah.
So they get it. The rule is everyone has to decide what they're going to be. Then they explain the rules. Are you going to be a rower or a thrower? And then the rules are you're going to kayak out to a boat, untie a ball, kayak over to the side, and then toss the ball, throw the ball into a hoop, and then you row back. For the most part, all of the men decide they're going to be the rowers, and all the women decide they're going to be the throwers, except for Natalie. Actually, you guys do not kayaking, but you guys do
paddleboarding.
So actually, you and Steve would probably be really good at this.
Yeah, I was surprised when they said Natalie was going to row. But then, like Josh said, he thought, well, the boat isn't that far. I bet she could do it. And then when he turned around and saw it, he thought, oh, I don't think she can do it. That does look a little bit far. And they had to row kind of around. That does look a little bit far, but
it looked like a long way.
Yeah. I think it was the best bet for them to switch, but they all announced what their roles were. And then they turned around, whispered, and switched. And then when they got in the boats, all the other couples saw that they switched and the couples got upset and thought they were cheating.
As they were going, so Rob of Rob and Sophie, he's actually kayaks pretty often. He was like, oh, we're going to win this. The prize is a honeymoon suite for a night at the resort. And Josh hit maneuvers the kayak and throws Rob and Sophie into a tailspin in their kayak. And they're like, they're cheating. And they did a couple things that were kind of nasty. And they did Natalie no favors with that camera. She did herself no favors.
Yeah.
She looks like a villain. She looks like a cartoon villain. A little bit like Schmeagol from The Lord of the Rings, holding the ball, and she's so excited that she's winning. Some of the couples did okay. Some of the couples struggled. You see Ari and Benny get into a fight. You see, who's shocked by that? And then you see Gino and Jasmine. They didn't do great, but Jasmine was just hyping Gino up the whole time. It was very sweet. You're like, oh, good job, Jasmine. Mm-hmm. And then Jasmine also congratulates herself on being a great hype woman as well, which I thought was fun.
Mind you, all the men have horrible hangovers at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And feel like crap.
So I think it was good timing for this. Like, everyone needed to be punished a little for their bad behavior. In the end, Natalie and Josh win. And she, even as they get up, she undoes her hair and her hair falls down and she fixes her hair and then she gets out of the kayak and she's like, we win. And she's so proud of that and they're so excited. And then everyone's pissed off at them because they played dirty. Natalie is, so proud of herself. They're so excited. And then when all the other couples kind of slowly make it up, it was Brandon and Julia who came in right after. Yeah. And everyone's pissed off because Natalie and Josh played so dirty. It was funny because in between the sheets, you can see Natalie feels bullied because Jasmine starts the chant, disqualified, disqualified. Natalie was like, I can't believe it. And she's like, oh, I started it. They're getting interviewed together. Yeah. And she's like, I started it. It was great. It was so cool because everyone started copying me and we all chanted together. It was awesome. I can see why that was bad, but also it was like a cartoon. It was like a kid's movie where the girl that was a big dick to everyone is like, no, you guys can't say that to me. You're just jealous. And you're like, this is the most immature thing I've ever seen. All of these adults. And they're chanting against the one girl who's being a bitch. But then you feel bad for her for a second until you're like, well, she did cheat. The whole thing was just nonsense. And I felt bad for the therapist because they didn't really know what happened. Yeah. They didn't see all of that happen. They're like, okay, yeah, Natalie and Josh, you're disqualified, I guess. Good job. You were the fastest, but you're disqualified, and we're going to give it to them. And Josh kind of spun it, and he does it in the interviews later on, where he spins it as like, they don't want anything good for Natalie. They're just against Natalie. No, they're against both of you, and you guys deserved it. There's consequences to your actions. People are not going to be on your side when you're a dick to them. I don't know why this is surprising. There's this idea of me or us against the world, that any couple that kind of plays like that, I feel like they're doomed. The second theory, it's us against the world, baby. And I'm like, oh, there's something bad going on there. That's never a healthy thing. It's never going to work out. Yeah. And I have a hard time believing Josh when he says that. When he says those things about Natalie. He's manipulating her. Yeah. Her little speech, too. She gets up on that little, I don't know, rise or something where the therapists are standing and has that stupid little speech. You guys are just jealous. We won. I can't believe you. And then just steps back down and gets really mad. And then they say Brandon and Julia are the winners. I thought that was just all stupid. Oh, yeah. There's a conversation that happens in between the sheets about the difference between Natalie crazy and Jasmine crazy. And how they're both crazy, but one of the things that Josh brings up that I think is a solid point is that Natalie's crazy, but she's crazy in her own world. If you send her off on her own, she'll go and be crazy on her own. versus Jasmine, when she's feeling crazy, she needs everybody to live in the craziness with her. And even Jasmine is like, I'm crazy, but I'm not insane. Like,
yeah.
And I think it's a little bit true because there's part of Natalie that genuinely thought getting up on that hill and making a speech was like a thing to do.
Yeah.
And everyone else in the world would go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What kind of melodrama are you starring in right now?
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah, so they give the award to Brandon and Julia. So then they have the lakeside therapy. They all sit in the chairs. They all sit in that semicircle. They talk to Gino and Jasmine first about their experience out there. And Gino says he was shocked that Jasmine stayed calm when they were out there and that she was a good hike woman. And Stacey and Florian said that Stacey, right, she didn't give up. Right? They didn't give up on each other. We saw that we were in last place, but we were still going to go back to shore and still finish this. So we felt really good about it. And then the Sophie and Rob thing with the Natalie laughing. And so then they started talking with Rob and Sophie. Rob starts complaining about how nothing he ever does is good enough for Sophie. He's trying to do his best, and his best is never good enough for Sophie. And Sophie's always telling Rob what to do. And then Natalie says, well, Sophie's just lazy. And then starts her cackling and her laughing. And the therapists are looking over at Natalie. Everybody's looking at Natalie. And the therapists look at Natalie probably 3 times, at least. The two of them together look at Natalie, and she doesn't stop laughing. At one point, she says, okay, sorry, I'll stop. And she does, her laughing just escalates. She keeps laughing. She keeps laughing. Sophie says calmly, please stop. You're being disrespectful. I'm trying to be vulnerable. Everybody's talking. We're all trying to have therapy. Please stop talking. Please stop laughing. And then Julia can't handle it and starts yelling at her and says, it's not about you, right? This is not about you. Stop laughing. And that's basically where it ends. But why do you think that the therapists didn't say something to Natalie?
Because it's a TV show. And this is what I was saying earlier. Nothing solidified for me more that they're not trying to achieve anything. It's just this is the only circumstances they could think of to put them all in together.
Yeah.
Because Natalie was so out of control.
Yeah.
And I have to think that the laughing had lasted at least a couple minutes. It was so forced and so put on and so fake and so obviously so. It was irritating. So irritating. And you see Julia lose her cool. I was irritated that no one intervened to the point that you see Julia have a meltdown. It was gross and annoying, and I don't know why it was allowed.
Yeah. I think the therapists didn't say anything, or we didn't see them say anything, right? Maybe they didn't edit it correctly. Maybe they did say something and we're going to see something later. I don't know. I don't think they said anything, or we didn't see it because they wanted to see how the other couples handled it. They wanted to see who maybe had a reaction to Natalie and who didn't. Not that that's really maybe healthy, right? To see who blew up or who didn't blow up, but because they clearly made some sort of decision about the disqualification, right? So they can make a decision about what's going on, obviously, whether they felt pressured to do that or not. You know, I think they should have done something. I don't think they did anything because I think they were watching the couples to see what, if anything, anybody was doing. Maybe to see if Josh would do something. Maybe to see if she would stop, because she caused problems at the bar fight. James had talked to her about bullying, right? She's clearly bullying Sophie right now.
Yeah.
And she's not stopping. And James knows she's got a past of bullying. So he's watching her to see what's going on. That's what I'm thinking.
That's plausible as well.
Sure.
Because the dynamics is so confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not a normal person thing. Normal people don't do what Natalie was doing.
Right.
It felt so insane to me.
Yeah, we find out in between the sheets that Natalie says, look, I felt disrespected by Sophie. Natalie feels that Sophie is the one that started the disqualification chant. She thought Sophie started it, so she was getting her back. With the laughing. So that's why she did the laughing. So we find that out in between the sheets. But Natalie
and I are the same age, and it seems insane to me that she would still be thinking in that way. Well, she did this, so I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What's the point of this? What are you achieving?
Yeah.
Revenge is not enough. Like, is it gonna create something out of this? Is she gonna be scared of you after? No, you just pissed her off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think that's immaturity for sure.
Yeah. And you see in the thing that she still feels, even though it was a very proud Jasmine who started the chant, she still completely blames Sophie. In the Between the Sheets, we don't know when everything is filmed, but Between the Sheets is definitely after everything is done. Josh is still backing up Natalie and talking about what a victim she is in all of this and how everyone is against her happiness because they're jealous of her. He is a snake. There is some weird, slippery, gross stuff going on with him that yucky.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Stacey and Florian again, really quick. Because some of the stuff that comes out, they're having the couples kind of point out who's the leader in the relationship. Yeah. Stacey says, I've been the leader in this relationship for 9 years. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to let him lead this exercise. We find out that Florian doesn't even have a driver's license. She paid for him to go take classes. He didn't study. He went to 2 of the classes that he failed his test, and then he's never tried again. She does all the grocery shopping. She makes sure all the bills are paid. He's like another kid for her. Yeah. She doesn't say it, but like that's how I see it. It's like if you are putting everything on your spouse like that, I don't know how that dynamic is so bizarre to me. No wonder she's screaming at him all the time. Yeah. It's another kid in her house that she's got to take care of. Yeah. And she's like, he can't lead. He can't get himself to the grocery store. Yeah. Ooh. I was disappointed in him when I heard that.
I was too. And then I thought, no wonder Stacey makes him dry brush her like a horse. Because that is his penance for having her drive his ass around for 9 years. I was completely shocked by that because I think, like you said, the masculine men from his country, right? They have that idea, but that's not what he's proving in their relationship at all. No. And he even kind of says and leans towards that with Gino in Between the Sheets a little bit at the beginning. He tells Gino, you need to teach your girl how to be around your friends. And Gino does stand up for Jasmine and say, hey, man, I'm not going to teach her anything.
It's not my job to teach her anything. Well, I'm not in control of her behavior.
Right. And we don't do that.
Florian keeps trying to make the point. And Gino's like, no. I liked how he handled that moment with Florian because you know he loves to be... He's going to take the dude side in 99% of it. And in that one, I thought he said the very correct thing, which was like, it's not my job to teach her anything to fix. She has her own behavior. Good job, Gino.
Yeah. I did like when they were talking about Natalie laughing at Sophie when Rob said he didn't like Natalie laughing at Sophie. I did like him standing up for Sophie. And again, we've talked about this before. He is in Team Sophie most of the time, right? You know, we saw him still complaining about her, but when somebody else is talking shit about her, he is backing her up, right? He can talk shit about her, but nobody else can, you know? Yeah. Even if they're fighting, he will still stand up for her. And I really like that. Because a lot of men have huge egos and pride and won't do that when they're mad at their spouse. And Rob has always been 100% on her side. And I really liked that he said that in between the sheets. He was like, yeah, I don't like Natalie doing that. That upset me. Heidi, one of the therapists, was watching Rob and Sophie talking at the lakeside therapy, and she said that Rob and Sophie, their dynamic in their relationship is they have a difficult time with personal ownership. The both of them have that problem, and they have a tendency to blame the other person. And I completely agree with that. Watching them when they argue or when they talk about the other person, I think that's a thing for them. And I think that's a pretty big thing to try and get over, because that's really in your head.
Yeah. I think that comes with maturity, which Rob's doing better, but he's still got a ways to go. And she's just not there.
Yeah.
She's just not there yet. And I think it's a way of arguing when you're like, you can only see your side.
Yeah.
And when they're in their lizard brain, they have a really hard time taking a moment to see the other person's point of view. I don't know if that's a hurdle that she's going to be able to get over. And he takes it so personally, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
That's irritating as fuck to say, like, I've been doing XYZ. He was like, my job was to row. That was my only job. And I did it. And she's still not happy with what I did.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I tried to tell him what I wanted him to do, and he wasn't really listening. And he's like, I was supposed to row.
Yeah.
And I rowed. Why isn't... So...
No, I get it. I totally get it.
I feel bad. I feel bad for both of them. Because I think they just... There's something blocking their ability to communicate, and I don't know if we're going to be able to find what that is.
I saw a theory online that I wanted to ask you about. That somebody put out there that they haven't had sex for so long, and that they have this problem between them because maybe she is now just into women. And that is why she can't get past. She loves Rob, right? He will always be in her life. But she just wants to be intimate with women. And that's why she can't get over that hump, if you will.
It was such a big deal during their season.
It was.
And it's not really being discussed at all.
Right. And I don't think it's so far off, maybe, that she is now just strictly wanting to be with women. And that's why she is refusing so hard to have sex with him. The whole, sex therapy and touching his body and doing anything sexual with him at all just really seemed to be so uncomfortable for her. If you think about it.
She made the huge distinction, but it's men's nipples.
Right.
Ugh.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, that was a conspiracy theory online.
I can see that as maybe a thing.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to figure it out by the end of the show. And no one will.
Oh, yeah. They won't. No, they won't. They won't figure it out. I mean, Sophie's admitted she's bisexual, so she does like women. But I don't know. I still think something has happened with her and Rob. I think something has happened with Gino and Jasmine. I don't know what, though.
I mean, they're all keeping secrets from us. Mm-hmm. Even the producers keep secrets from us. And then they give us a little nugget of cheese in the between the sheets. And we go, oh, that makes a little bit more sense now.
Right. Thank you.
And I really would be so much happier if it was all in one show, because it's very hard for me to take notes. But one of the things that they did that I thought was fun, and I want to do it, was they did marry, smash, or pass.
Oh yeah.
And so I have all of my little notes. So I think we should do it. So I'll pull them for you, and then we'll see what we think. I've got to get all my little bits because I literally have little pieces of paper. Hold on, but I only have one hand because the cat is.
I know, because you have a baby.
I have a baby. All right, I'm not looking. Not looking. All right. Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. Marry, smash, or pass Rob, Gino, or Benny?
Oh. Smash Rob. Pass Gino.
Oh. You'd marry Benny?
I'd marry Benny.
Who was it that was like, oh, I'd never have to deal with him?
Right.
I'd marry Sophie because she would be gone. That's
right.
What Jasmine said.
I'd never have to deal with Benny because
Never see
he'd
her.
be off performing somewhere.
Oh yeah, that would be lovely.
Mhm.
Like I don't have to deal with
Mhm.
you. Okay. I'd have to pass on Benny for me.
Okay.
I would marry Rob because he's rich. And again, he would never want to see me. And then I would smash Gino. Would I smash Gino? Is that what I ended up with?
No. Do that again. Please do that again.
No, I said it. I've got to.
Okay.
According to the row and throw rules, I set their places. Oh.
Do again. We have to do one more.
Okay, I'm going to
one
go again.
more.
I'm going to go again.
One more.
One more.
I can't live with that. One more.
We've got Brandon, Florian, and Josh.
Oh my god, those are terrible. Brandon.
I got Rob and Josh mixed up. I get them mixed up all the time.
Brandon, Florian, and Josh.
Brandon, Florian, and Josh.
And Josh. Oh my god. I have no idea. Do you know yet? I still have to think.
Okay, so I mixed up Rob and Josh.
Okay.
So I will say I will marry Gino and have sex with Rob. I mean smash.
Okay.
Sorry, Dad. And then I will marry Josh because he won't want me at his house, but he'll finance my life. I will... I'll smash Brandon and I'll pass on Florian. Because if I accidentally got pregnant, I wouldn't want that Neanderthal forehead.
Ooh.
For our babies.
Good one. Good one. I would probably pass on Florian, marry Brandon, and smash Josh. Yep.
Okay, so we're in agreement with that. All right.
Yep.
Well, look at us.
Yes. That I feel better about that. But
yeah, that's a better one.
That's a better
than
one.
Accidentally smashing Gino. But apparently that tummy fat is so cozy.
Oh gosh. Well,
my tummy fat is so cozy.
That
Just
was
ask
fun.
Joey the cat.
With the babies today.
Fun. Look at those.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, how many weeks away are we from? I need to give it a Goog.
The Valley.
How far are we from the Valley? Do you know?
I have no idea. People, we are so hyped for the Valley. You have no idea. It's going to be so great. We love the Valley so much.
Good.
We love Vanderpump. Anything Vanderpump rules. We are going to smash that all over the place. It's going to be so great. We can't wait.
When is the Valley season 2? Spring 2025.
See, that means like March or April now. It's definitely not February.
They don't know how bad we need it. In this economy,
especially.
I need to see the Valley.
Right.
So I can just stay home.
Yeah.
Again, Jax, good job and thank you. Did you see his video that he posted on Instagram? That he has already done all of his character arc is finished. He has no more room for growth.
No.
Perfection. That's all I want to hear.
Okay.
I want garbage Jax forever.
Okay.
I don't want Jason Couchy.
I don't want Jason Couchy ever. Never.
I want Jax Taylor with all of his nose jobs, stealing Stacy's Xanax.
Pump Teeny. Here we go. Come on.
Pump Teeny.
Yep.
But he won't make a mojito.
He won't make a mojito. We want some Pump Teeny.
Yes.
Oh,
all right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you, everybody. Miss you.
Miss you.
Adopt a cat.
Okay. See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.